It's the final A race here at Cadwell Park in the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship. And what a great turnout we've got on the grid. But Lyndsay, really, all of the action this weekend has been focusing on 3 cars.
It has indeed, Lloyd. So as you can see, we've got Will Blackwell Chambers in pole position, followed very closely by someone that is definitely wanting to get the top spot, which is John Langridge. And then again, Brian Schott right behind him. Now, Brian has been on the ball. He managed to pip Will in the second race, but due to missing a gear, unfortunately, he did drop down to 3rd position. So can he still manage to get past it? He obviously knows where the overtaking spots are. It's a bit of a gem around here at Cadwell. So I'm going to hand it straight over to Andy to run you through all of the action.
Yeah, thanks, Lyndsay. Well, Brian knows he's got the pace to win, I guess. He just needs to execute that now, doesn't he? And he's starting from 3rd on the grid, so some more overtaking to be done. Blackwell Chambers and Langridge row 1 with Trott and Steve Foden row 2. Ben Short and Joe McEwan are on row 3 with Ollie Allwood. And Sam Smith, runner-up in the championship last year. He's back for a one-off appearance only this weekend. And he's inside the top 10 finally for the first time, having had some issues in qualifying yesterday. His brother Tom Smith is back on this grid as well, a little bit further down the order, 15th for him. Plus those that got promoted, Lewis Cannon, our race 2B winner, will start 22nd on the grid. Jason Craytrex has been promoted as well, so he's back on the A grid for this, the final race of the weekend. Away we go, Blackwell Chambers and Langridge from row 1, and John Langridge with a good start this time around from 2nd on the grid. He's on the outside line down towards the first corner, but I reckon that John might just be able to get through ahead of Will Blackwell Chambers. On board with Martin Tolley in the pack. There's a car off already to the right hand side, and that was someone from within the top 10, didn't quite see who. And more drama there on the left hand side of the road. There are cars off, oh, contact! Someone spins in the middle of the road and Martin Tolley has nowhere to go. Now, who was that? I've got a feeling that Ben Short has been involved in that. Yes, that's Ben Short. That's Ben Short off the road. That is huge drama for another of our championship contenders for the 2nd time this weekend. Ben Short has been involved in contact at the first corner, but this time it looks like it might be terminal and he may be out of the race. So real excitement, but unfortunately real misfortune for a few of our potential front runners. We'll try and pick out who else has gone missing on the opening lap. Ben Short and Martin Tolley definitely involved, but there were other cars that were pointing the wrong way off the road and receiving contact, and that therefore may not be able to continue. Right, down the hill we go then. The top 3 from both of our first 2 races have been able to escape at the head of the field then, with Langridge leading the way, Blackwell Chambers 2nd and Brian Trott in 3rd. The question will be who remains behind, but they're so far back the rest of the field because of that early skirmish at the first corner. It's actually hard to tell exactly who is there in 4th position. There's Jason Craytrex, as I said, he's been promoted back onto the A grid now after his race 1 non-finish. And Joe Wiggin must have been involved too, because there the purple and black car, number 41, is right down the order, the McEwan racing car, so he was another that was off the road somewhere on the opening lap. And is now trying to salvage whatever he can from this final race of the weekend. But the big news, I guess, really, is that Ben Short, 3rd in the championship, is out, or potentially, yes, it does look like he's out of the race. I don't think he's continued, so Ben, whose worst finishes coming into this weekend, well, 2 of them have already happened this weekend. His 5th place in race 2, his 7th place in race 1, and prior to that he was dropping a 4th place finish. This will now, though, seriously change the championship standings. It won't work out too badly for him at the moment, because this will become a drop score, but it adds the pressure on for the rest of the season. Back to the battling meanwhile then, with 54 there going through is Marcus Bailey. Just ahead of him, Adam Craig is dicing away with Tom Smith, the younger brother of Sam Smith, who, as I said, is making his very welcome return to the championship. In fact, that is Sam Smith, number 6, so he was, I think, the first car we saw getting ejected off the circuit stage right into the first corner. So Sam Smith, who so narrowly missed out on the championship to Will Blackwell Chambers last year in that dramatic championship decider at Donington Park, where they both skated off the road on fluid that was left on the circuit. Blackwell Chambers was able to rejoin from the gravel trap though, and Sam Smith was not. And then the red flags flew and that was it. And unfortunately for Sam Smith, it cost him the championship, because Blackwell Chambers was still running at the time of the red flag. He was able to take the restart, whereas Sam was not. But Sam back in a slightly less high pressure situation this weekend, but things haven't really gone to plan for him. And he's been left with probably not the results that he was anticipating on his much anticipated return to the championship. Just behind him here is this battle between number 54 Marcus Bailey And it looks like that's Lewis Cannon behind, isn't it? Number 8, who qualified really well for that first A race before getting speared into the barriers through the first corner. And unfortunately, hasn't really been able to recover from that. He did win that B race earlier on, but now, you know, if you go off and you don't finish the first A race, it really messes up the rest of your weekend. You're left in race 2 trying to salvage a top 5 finish to get into the A grid again. And then in race 3, you have to come from the back of the grid. He's just gained another place there at the expense of Marcus Bailey, the Masters contenders in the race this weekend. Brian Trott, incidentally, is the leading Master in the Championship. Quite some way, actually. He is the only Master that's inside the top 5 or 6 in the outright Championship. But it goes to show that despite the increased age of some of the drivers on the grid, they're still equally competitive. You never lose that race craft and that natural speed. If you had it once, then you tend to keep it as long as you keep your eye in. And yeah, Brian Trott doing a really good job. But the Masters give as good as they get. They're out there for overall results if they can get them. Lewis Cannon, though, one of the younger drivers on the grid, is up another spot then in that distinctively liveried black and orange number 8 car. Joe Wiggin there, you catch a glimpse of in the background. He's the other one to watch for coming up the order. As to, look, was that 65 Will Hayden? Yes, it is. Will Hayden there, the white car just behind Marcus Bailey, another who started inside the top 10 on the grid. Will Hayden started 9th, and therefore we have to assume also got delayed in that first corner shunt, which, by the way, did not require a safety car. So despite the fact that we lost Ben Short and Martin Tolley from that incident, they've both been able to get their cars to places of safety. So good work by them, good work by the marshals to assist in that recovery process as well. That means that there is no need for a safety car intervention here, and that is good news. The racing can therefore continue in this third and final 20-minute A race of the weekend. White car there, William Hayden, another driver who's had a frustrating season so far, really, has Will. Had a non-finish in the first race at Brands Hatch, meant that he was sort of stuck back in the B grid for race 2, which he won, and then recovered to 21st in race 3. But then Pembrey, he had 2 non-finishes in the first 2 races. Again, brought back for the top 5 position, certainly in the final Pembrey race did Will, but there he is, the white car with the red rear bumper. That's not the colour that that bumper originally was at the start of the weekend, so that perhaps tells you a little bit about some of the antics that he's had earlier on this weekend. But it does look as though, touch wood, he is at least going to be able to finish all 3 races for the first time this weekend. He'd like to finish them as high up the order as possible, and has the pace, no doubt, to be finishing higher up than this. Indeed, he's had those 2 top 10s already, a 6th in race 1 and 9th in race 2. There's no doubt in Will Hayden's raw speed, but just wrong place, wrong time, really, it would seem, on the opening lap of this one. And that whole group now being caught by Joe Wiggin. So Joe Wiggin just there in the background coming over the hill. He's enjoying seeing all of this battling going on in front of him because it's delaying the pack of cars that he's chasing down. Now, Joe Wiggin's drop scores this season all came from Pembrey, where he had a 10th, a 9th and a 6th place finish in those 3 races. So this will therefore replace the 6th place finish, so he will gain some points back due to the slightly quirky way that the drop score system works. If you've had a consistent season so far, you end up dropping more points, so when you then get a bad result, you gain points back. That's the way the drop score system operates. So it's always, ironically, beneficial for you to have 1 or 2 non-finishes somewhere, because you just can start regaining lots of points. So Joe Wiggin, like all of them out there, will want to try and finish as high up the order as he can and not want to rely on drop scores. But Joe, who was 5th in the championship coming into this race, but only 2 points clear of Steve Foden, well, they're all about to gain another place there at the expense of the grass-tracking Will Hayden. So Will Hayden, having just, I think, gained a position there, ends up losing it again, coming out to Park Corner. And Joe Wiggin, amongst others, is going to gain ground, or is he? No, Will Hayden fights straight back through the gooseneck. Wiggin looks to the inside into Mansfield. They're both braking at a similar point. I think Wiggin maybe felt that he could have braked later, but the inside line was defended. I'm trying to just identify the car behind Wiggin, but I think that's Ben Hansey, is it not? So if it is, Ben Hansey has also been severely delayed. Oh, sideways there for Hayden, who's looking a bit ragged, and that will compromise his exit, but Joe Wiggin really compromises his exit from the mountain. Such was his eagerness to get up the inside on the exit of the corner. He was a bit too aggressive with the right foot, and very nearly lost it, gathered it together, but he's lost positions now. Ben Hansey's gone back past him. But Ben started the race 13, so just outside the top 10. And also very much got delayed. So too, it would appear, as Steve Foden. Steve Foden is in this group of cars we just caught a glimpse of. So lots of potential front runners, unfortunately, not having it the way they wanted. Back with the leading trio, though. John Langridge, your leader, still, with Brian Trott second, and Will Blackwell Chambers third. So Blackwell Chambers hasn't had much luck at the start of these races. He seems to lose ground early on and then regain it later. But look at the man in fourth there, the white and purple car of Matt Luff. Now, Matt's best result so far this season has been an 8th place finish in the season opener at Brands Hatch. It's been a difficult season at times for Matt. He has had a 9th and a 10th earlier on this weekend, but he's taken full advantage of the chaos at the start. And look at the way that he's closed in on the leading trio. He's pulled about 5 seconds already on the cars behind. Really impressive pace, this, from the AB Motorsport car. So Matt Luff tried to make this a 4-car fight for the race lead, and he might just succeed in doing so, because I don't think that John Langridge's pace is quite as quick as we've seen in previous races. Yeah, the fastest lap in the previous 2 races, on both occasions, a 1 minute 44 point, well, a 1 minute 44.3 and then a 1 minute 44.4 in race 1. Fastest lap in this race at the moment is a low 1 minute 45, so the pace is definitely slower than it has been so far this weekend. That possibly is because this is, I think, the longest period of time that we've seen John Langridge out in front. But hey, you don't have to be the fastest driver out there to win. If you've got the racecraft that we know that John has, then you can absolutely defend from the front, especially around a narrow and tight technical circuit like this one. That, I think, is Jack Brewer, by the way, who is in 6th with, I reckon, Sam Smith behind him. So Smith has been able to regain quite a bit of lost ground in this one already. There's Tom, sorry. 54, not that's 54, Tom Moody. Jack Moody. Marcus Bailey, I'll get it right in a minute. Marcus Bailey, number 54, coming through. And there, number 30 is Dave Turton, the blue car, just ahead of Matt Pollard, number 55. Sort of pairing off now in this midfield scrum. There's Steve Foden, look, the black and gold car. So Steve, who's had a couple of 4th place finishes, yeah, 4th in both the first 2 races. Not likely to repeat a top 5 finish this weekend, but he is about to go up the inside of Ben Hansey. There's a lot of traffic, they're all quite quick drivers. Usually you would expect to see this lot inside the top 10, and that's what happens though when you have an incident at the start involving runners inside the top 5 or so. It can take out and delay lots of potential podium finishers. That can lead to, oftentimes, a fairly topsy-turvy result. For the curbs there, lots of use of the floppy marker posts. And a lock up there for Hansey as Dave Turton tries to peek up the inside line. And then down towards Park corner. In fact, Turton's inside approach there lost him ground on the exit, and so Matt Pollard is able to take full advantage and pull back up the inside line. So Pollard gaining ground, Turton losing ground, despite almost gaining a place down at Mansfield. That's the way often in Mazda MX-5 racing, because they're not the most powerful of cars. If you go for a move and it doesn't work, you tend to lose lots of momentum. Because the racing is so close, there are usually at least 1 or 2 cars right on your tail, sometimes more, waiting to take advantage. Walking with Steve Foden down across the start-finish line, up through the gears. You can see the Rob Boston Racing logo inside the car, indicating that very successful, not just Mazda team anymore, Rob Boston Racing, but Rob Boston running cars in multiple championships across UK Motorsport. This another car clearly prepared by Rob and his very, very capable team. No wonder, therefore, that we're seeing Steve Foden now starting to extract the sort of results you would expect of a Rob Boston Racing driver. Let's over the curbs, down the hill again. There's Dave Turton once more. Dave, who we've seen at the front of some of the B races already this year, has really started to become a much more frequent visitor to the A grids, and that was a nice move up the inside of Ben Hansey, but he was a bit too late on the brakes. Hansey will try and fight back therefore up the inside at Chris Curve, and yeah, Turton did a good job there to close the door in front of Oliver Graham, the other blue car, number 24, just behind them. So up 1, back down 1. Looking not to lose more ground. The red and white car at the back of the group is arguably the quicker of them, though. That's Jason Greatrex, having started 23rd on the grid as a result of being promoted through the B grid race earlier on this morning. He will be ruining that non-finish that he had in yesterday's opener, which is what put him down on the B grid in the first place. Right, back to this group of cars battling away. This is Joe Wiggin, William Hayden, Steve Foden, and I think that's Marcus Bailey, isn't it, still, number 54 at the back of the group. The state of Will Hayden's car, it's full of dings and dents and scratches down the right-hand side. He He's had a physical weekend here at Cadwell Park as well. Trying to fend off Steve Foden though, who has caught this group now fairly rapidly. So Steve is arriving here with good pace. Try and get in the toe down the pit straight, but I don't really think he's close enough. On to the final lap of the race though. And John Langridge has had, again, a fairly... He's certainly not been lonely out at the front of the field, because Brian Trott and Will Blackwell Chambers have been right with him. But much as we saw on the final lap of race 2, the fight for second place in the closing stages is going to possibly allow the race leader a fairly easy path to victory. John Langridge is taking full advantage of Brian Trott's need to defend his second position here from Will Blackwell Chambers. So whilst Trott would love to have a go for the race lead, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Langridge, though, twice a winner already this season, both of those races coming at Pembrey last time out. Had a second place at Brands Hatch as well before that contact between himself and Will Blackwell Chambers in race 2 put him out of the race. And that meant that the best he could salvage out of race 3 was a B race victory. Langridge, though, is your points leader on dropped scores. He came into this race 6 points clear of Will Blackwell Chambers. Neither of them have the fastest lap though. Matt Luff in 4th place. Look, he's been able to catch them, but he's just going to run out of time to do anything about them. But he has set the fastest lap, so Matt Luff, for the first time I think this year, will come away from a race with the fastest lap. Langridge, though, through the final couple of corners, well, he's not going to have a huge margin of victory, but it will be a victory by the looks of it for the 3rd time in 2019. John Langridge is going to extend his championship lead because he sees the checkered flag first, he punches the air with delight, and John Langridge is a 3-time winner in the 2019 Mazda MX-5 Championship. Brian Trott will come home in 2nd place, and Will Blackwell Chambers rounds out the podium, finishes Matt Luff a great drive to 4th, and likewise Jack Brewer in 5th, Lewis Cannon is 6th, whilst a 5-second track limits penalty drops Sam Smith down to 8th position. Look, behind Adam Craig, Ollie Allwood and Tom Smith round out the top 10, and there you see confirmation Ben Short and Martin Tolley both out of the race, and that will become, no doubt, a drop score for Ben Short, but that is not an ideal weekend. 3 races to forget, unfortunately, for the man who was leading the championship.
John, what a way to end the weekend with a victory, but close racing again between all 3 of you.
Yeah, it was really tight that time. I got a really great start, smashing start, and managed to edge into the lead. I looked behind me and it must have been something happened at the first corner, because suddenly the 3 of us, or maybe 4 of us, were a long way ahead already. And I kind of knew from the previous races I wasn't quite as quick as the other boys this weekend, but we made a change to the car which was working really nicely, but not quite well enough to keep them back. So I thought, just got to defend this time.
Brian, quickly talk me through that race.
That was a tight race. Just off the start, I managed to miss the carnage. Second time this weekend's not great, but I came out in P3 there, looked at my mirrors, and there was not really much else. I think Matt Luff was there. So the 4 of us got away. John started defending early, and obviously I was behind Will, so I just sent it down the outside a couple of times. It didn't work the first time. I nearly threw it off. But I tried the same manoeuvre the next lap, got into 2nd, and then I was just pressuring John all the way. He was struggling around the quick corners with rear end stability, and a couple of times I thought I had my nose in there. But I could have kept my foot in, but we all play fair. So I had to lift out a couple of times and try it again, and there was about 4 occasions where I was so close to getting him. But to be fair, he drove well. I've got to be happy with this weekend. 3 podiums. AB Motorsport put the car together well. We've made some slight changes. The car's been better every time. And big thanks to Team Trott.
Well, your 3rd podium of the weekend, but you were really hoping for 3 wins.
It would have been nice. I missed out on an opportunity on the first lap. I messed up the start. John got past me, and then I had an opportunity to get past him, and I didn't take it. I don't quite know why, but it was a mistake that shouldn't have happened. And then from that on in, John was holding me up quite a lot, and Brian managed to do a really good move around the outside, and then I couldn't do the same to him because there was no space. So it was kind of a bit of a boring 3rd place. So I was very much hoping the front 2 might take each other out, but it didn't happen. But no, happy with the weekend. We've had a tough start to the year, so just to finish 3 races and bring home 3 podiums is a really good result.